All right, ladies and gentlemen, today it's time to talk about Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now, as you guys are aware, this is a video game that I was looking forward to for a while. And once I finally got my hands on it, this is one of the few video games that I had high expectations for, and it somehow blew past those expectations to the point now where I am going to call this my absolute, without a doubt, unless something crazy comes out this year that changes it, this is my game of the year. There's no doubt about it. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is exactly what Final Fantasy modern games should have been, and it's crazy that it took a team of 33 people, some of which were ex-Ubisoft developers, in order to create this masterpiece of an RPG, and we are going to talk about it. Now, in today's video, we have this article here from Windows Central that says Clair Obscur Expedition 33 utterly destroys Square Enix's gaslighting over Final Fantasy turn-based combat. That is mainly what the focus of today's video going to be when we are talking about Square Enix, their overall ridiculous sentiments around turn-based combat, and how they have completely abandoned what could have been an insane modern version of Final Fantasy that they could have released, very similar to Nintendo and Power World situation. They decided to abandon it, and now they're getting felted by it. So let's get into this article, guys. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, I've already written my full review for Expedition 33 on Steam. I'm about 13 hours into the game. I obviously plan to fully complete the game, but I had to get the review out there because after playing the game for 13 hours and experiencing a massive plot twist, not even 1/3 through the game, I gotta tell you, this thing is absolutely insane. It really, truly is a masterpiece in video game history, especially over the last 5 to 10 years. Now, before we get into the article and talk about Square Enix, let's talk about the overall notion about turn-based combat not selling, right? So Square Enix made a statement talking about how turn-based combat doesn't sell and how that is going to be the reason why Final Fantasy is going to go to the action combat. And ever since Final Fantasy went to the action combat, the games have been not as great, right? They have not been selling nowhere near as much. People are just not as interested. It almost seems as if they abandoned a majority of their fans in order to gain a small minority of new fans. I think they were hoping that the action combat would bring in way more new people to offset the people they were going to lose who were looking for the more pure Final Fantasy with the turn-based combat. Now, Expedition 33 is doing extremely well right now. The game over the weekend is currently at 121,422 peak concurrent players. The word of mouth is spreading over this game, and the number keeps going up and up and up every single day, and rightfully so. The game is really that good. It is being universally praised everywhere on Steam, on Metacritic. I don't really care about the mainstream critics. Their reviews don't matter to me. All that matters to me is what gamers are saying and how they are viewing this game, and everybody is talking positively about this game so far, with the couple of sentiments being about the performance of the game, which I understand because I also experienced that, and I put that in my review as a con for the game. Sometimes the performance is not that great. Turn-based combat has been proven to be selling, especially when it's done properly. This game incorporates an insane amount of action combat mechanics like a dodge system, a parry system, a jump system to avoid low attacks, things of that nature. Metaphor ReFantazio also had a similar turn-based combat system. It also sold very well as well. It is very clear that these games do very well when they are done properly, and yet for some reason Square Enix wants to avoid that altogether to chase Western trends. But in any case, it says a new JRPG from France has destroyed Square Enix, Naoki Yoshida gaslighting over turn-based combat, and reminds us how corporations kill creativity. I agree. Big corporations absolutely hinder creativity, which is why when I discovered that this game was made by 33 people and it looks this good, sounds this good, plays this good, tells an amazing story, how the hell was this possible with 33 people? It's because 33 passionate people got together and said, we are going to do this unhindered by Big Daddy Corporation. And that's exactly what happened here. They created one of the most amazing turn-based combat systems that I have played in a long time, and coupled with a game that is a beautiful game. The world is unbelievable. The story is engaging. Like I said, I got to this plot twist moment about, in my 5th stream last night, and I'm still thinking about it right now. I woke up thinking about this fucking game, and it is unbelievable. You think you want it, but you don't. That was a comment from former Blizzard president Alan Breck when responding to players who were asking for a World of Warcraft classic mode, which, by the way, he said that, and guess what ended up happening? Blizzard ended up giving players World of Warcraft Classic, and guess what was played insane amount when it actually came out, which was classic mode in World of Warcraft. People wanted it, people got it, and proved Alan Brack wrong. Then again, it says notorious among World of Warcraft fans not only for pretty arrogant and callous dismissal of an entire section of the fan base, but also because Blizzard eventually capitulated and gave players what they wanted. Now, under new leadership, World of Warcraft has changed its philosophy to giving fans exactly what they want. A shocking revelation, I know, but the game has never been in a better spot, with a variety of modes for different types of players, killing off its previous one-shoe-fits-all, dispassionate telemetry design philosophy. We're getting even player housing. It's perhaps iconic when the main reason we're getting player housing in World of Warcraft is due to competition from a competing MMO, Final Fantasy XIV. World of Warcraft was forced to throw their playbook out of the window to meet fans where they were, rather than what the data was telling them. Blizzard's telemetry must have been told them that nobody wanted player housing, but the popularity of the feature in Final Fantasy XIV certainly suggested otherwise. Final Fantasy XIV innovated where World of Warcraft had failed and won itself a large and thriving fan base of its own to back that innovation. But for whatever reason, Square Enix began ignoring its own successes when it comes to the mainline Final Fantasy games, which in recent years have been on steady decline in popularity and relevance. And I absolutely agree. This is a big problem with Final Fantasy, and it is because I wholeheartedly think that they gave up former fans in the hopes to garner new fans that would carry them over to the next generation. But to be quite frank, there just wasn't enough. Their action combat is not good enough to truly garner action combat fans. Not many of them anyway. So they gave up all of their fan bases, and the people who were growing older with Final Fantasy from way back in the day, who were still playing the modern ones now, myself included, they gave it up to chase the action combat. And to be honest with you, I have never been interested in any of the recent modern Final Fantasies. Final Fantasy 16 was an overall good game, I will say that, and from a storytelling perspective, it definitely was returning to the classic Final Fantasy storytelling, but it just was basically Devil May Cry with a Final Fantasy skin on it, and the combat system was wholly unengaging, and I just wasn't that interested in it. You basically spam the same freaking skills for the most part, and even when you unlock new summon abilities, it just doesn't matter. Like, you're just playing Devil May Cry. That's how it felt. Square Enix most recent Final Fantasy projects, namely 15, 16, and the 7 Remake and Rebirth, have found decent success, but I would argue none of them received the fanfare some of their predecessors enjoyed. That's true. The Final Fantasy 7 remakes have proven there's still magic to be found in the franchise, even if they flooded Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth with dull Ubisoft-inspired open-world drudgery. I agree with all this. That's crazy. Where there's been less success in its true Final Fantasy games, 15 and 16 are both neither what I would describe as classic entries in the series and represent something of a low point. Square Enix fully abandoned what made the series great, opting away from what fans want in favor of chasing other popular games in a desperate, misguided attempt to get more money. And I agree, man. The problem is that Square Enix has lost its magic. Final Fantasy has lost its magic, and the reason why is because they are chasing Western trends. They are chasing these, I don't really know what it is, but basically these ideologies that they think are going to bring in more money. They thought that turning this into Devil May Cry with a Final Fantasy skin was going to bring in more money, and if anything, they just lost a ton of money because they just didn't sell nowhere near as well. They missed their mark. They missed their expectations on both Final Fantasy remakes and also this game, Final Fantasy 16. They missed the mark. So I really feel if they go back to their turn-based roots, and if they implement a system like what's in Expedition 33 into a new turn-based Final Fantasy game and bring back epic storytelling, amazing cutscenes, a beautiful compromised world, like with graphics and like, if they truly bring that back, I think that will be a return to form for Final Fantasy, and I truly believe that will bring in players. But as of right now, Square Enix got absolutely shown up by Expedition 33, and this game deserves all the praise, as it just recently announced that it has surpassed 1 million copies sold. And that's not 1 million players engaged, by the way. These are ex-Ubisoft developers doing the exact opposite of what Ubisoft was doing. This game has sold 1 million copies, and they're even so transparent to the point where they even put a fucking cliff note here on the bottom explaining the numbers, that this number includes units shipped to retailers and does not encompass our awesome Game Pass players. Thank you all. That is how transparent this studio is being. Not only are they marketing their games with copies sold and not players engaged, which, by the way, they're a Game Pass game. They absolutely can do players engaged. They absolutely can showcase a bigger number. They could probably showcase 2 million players engaged or 3 million players engaged. They could do that, but they're choosing not to. They're choosing to say how many copies they sold because they're actually successful, unlike Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed Shadows that didn't make nowhere near the amount of money to break even on the project and to fund its absolute nonsense. So congratulations to Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, and Sandfall Interactive. They really gave us something special here, and for anybody that has not played this yet, I highly implore you consider checking it out, especially if you are a Game Pass player. There's no reason not to. There are so many Game Pass players that are in these comment sections right now talking about the fact that they tried it on Game Pass and ended up buying the game, simply put, because it was that good. It was literally that good. So I truly believe if you are a Game Pass player, go check it out. Consider playing it, and if you enjoy it, you guys already know what to do from there. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it if you get to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.